Today we're talking about real estate scams and fraud, and I want to talk to you guys, not just myself. I have my special guest here, how to avoid these things and basically what to look out for. So my special guest today is Anthony Russo. Anthony, thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's not waste any time. Let's dive into it. The topic we're talking about is avoiding fraud and scams. So what have you seen? What have you heard? What do you want to talk about?
Well, the biggest fraud or scheme that's out there seems to be people who own homes for a long time and don't know that someone has falsified or doctored a deed or forged a deed to transfer it out of their names into someone else's names. Doesn't seem to happen that often, but there's companies now that are out there trying to market a service that you pay for them to monitor your deed. But depending on the county you live in, there's ways for you to confirm that yourself anyhow. Yearly tax bills or quarterly tax bills or semi-annual tax bills will show the name of the owner on it. That's a good reminder. Depending on the county you're in, you could check yourself online. New York City and the 5 boroughs, you can go on their website. It's called Acris, and you could actually check the ownership information for a property if any deeds or anything has been recorded that has changed ownership. Nassau or Suffolk as well, depending on the municipality that you're in. Some of those records are accessible online, or you can, again, go down to the town clerk and check as well, or the county clerk, and get a copy of your deed even once a year to make sure. Again, they seem to be making it more of a hype of it to sell their product, in my opinion, but people should be aware of their property and if anything changes the title to it or ownership of it. And there's simple ways to do that.
I think one of the things I hear a lot when I'm talking to clients is pretty much especially the older generation, they get preyed upon and they get random phone calls from salespeople. I don't want to say investors, but some of them might be investors, and they're telling them, hey, we can sell your house for X amount of dollars, basically. And it's usually pennies on a dollar, and they have them sign away their property and their rights to their property and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's one of the purposes of why we're putting these videos together, basically, just to let people know what's out there. Be vigilant, especially if you have older folk living on their own. They want to be very independent, but you got to keep an eye out, basically, have conversations with them. They might be getting phone calls. They might have some people knocking on their doors, and we want people to be very vigilant. One of the scams I've seen a lot is, especially on the real estate side, is pretty much we get emails, text messages, sometimes phone calls from random people saying that they're part of a transaction that we're involved in. And most of us keep a log of everybody who's involved, the attorney on both sides, the loan officer, the agent, and stuff like that. Every now and again, you'll get a random name that you're like, the red flags are flying right now. Who is this? I don't know who this is. What I would caution people is if you don't recognize the email, do not open it. If it's a phone call you're not sure of, basically talk to your attorney, talk to your lender, talk to your agent, and confirm that basically the person you're getting a correspondence from is part of their team and stuff like that. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, that is rampant in every area. So myself, if I get 200 or 300 business emails a day, I probably get about 20 or 30 scam emails a day as well, saying that it's a real estate related email with an attachment that I will not open. Clients, customers, people, especially elderly, I guess, have to be more concerned that people are preying upon them. And the best advice is for them to consult someone they know and trust, a family member, a friend, a neighbor, to say, does this sound right? And the bottom line is, if it doesn't sound right, or if it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true, and it's probably a scam. There's always a way to take a second and check it out before you jump into anything. A lot of people will say, they'll buy your house, they'll guarantee you a certain sum, and it's all too good to be true. They'll get you out of foreclosure, they'll erase your mortgage, all things like that. Again, if it's too good to be true, it is. But more importantly, check with a neighbor, check with a family member, check with an attorney, an independent person. Don't rely upon the person speaking to you or who they refer you to, because there may be a team of them that are all in cohorts to try to take your property or defraud you. So definitely just use common sense. Take your time, check with a friend, family member, or a professional, an attorney or real estate agent independently.
Okay. That's sage advice, honestly. You have to go with your gut. If something, like you said already, if something seems too good to be true, obviously trust that intuition that you have. question stuff. I mean, if somebody's legit, they're not going to have a problem answering your questions. If you don't feel comfortable about something, the professional should be able to answer your questions. And if you're uneasy about something, they'll list all the reasons basically why they're asking you to do certain things. As we're talking, this happens a lot, especially with rentals. I tell people because we get phone calls all the time, and anybody who's doing on the rental side, if you're a potential person going for a rental, most real estate agents basically will meet with you face to face. We do not collect money until basically there's a closing, basically, and that's usually it's the landlord that's collecting the money. We don't usually get involved in that part. If somebody online is telling you, "Hey, I have an apartment and it's too good to be true," and they're asking for certain money up front, and then they're going to get the rest of it at when you meet them, and they're going to give you keys, be very vigilant about that because there's so many people that are taking listings or basically just going online. It's easy to go online and say, "Hey, I'm representing such and such." You have to do your due diligence. Anybody who's a real estate agent, a licensed real estate agent, it's going to have the credentials, and you're going to ask them thorough questions. You're going to come to see their office and make sure that person is legit. Rental scams, that happens a lot. Do not give any money up front. That should be known by everybody. Do not give money up front. Trust your gut. Wire fraud at closing, basically, yeah, or you think it's closing, but you have to talk to your attorney. Talk to the professionals that you hired and make sure the correspondence you're getting from is from the legit source.
We have seen
Yeah, go
We have
ahead.
seen that a lot. Even attorney emails have been compromised. So I've gotten emails from other attorneys that I've worked with, and you could see they're asking for things that I'm no longer in a transaction with them, and they're asking for wires or amounts, and you could see someone else has access to their emails. So it does happen a lot where even if we're in a transaction, you may get an email from your attorney or that you know, and it may say wire money to a different account, and you think you're following instructions, but the best advice is to confirm. Call that attorney, call your attorney, call the person you know, and confirm it because we use that. Any wires we do, we'll send our information in a protected, encrypted system, and then we'll make the person call us directly. So we speak to them before they actually wire and give them the confirmation, the final digits of the account, so that it can't be wired without speaking to us. Because there are a lot of people who are interrupting or intercepting emails and changing the source or where that money is destined to go, and that's the biggest scheme that I see these days.
All right. Well, as we're talking, this is kind of live, so people are seeing this as we're talking. So I got a couple of people that are asking questions about a few things. One of them, we're talking about foreclosure relief scams, which we kind of addressed already, where scammers are targeting homeowners struggling with their mortgage payments and offering them fake, legit services or government programs that require upfront fees but provide no help. So again, like you said, always talk to the source. There has to be a phone number. A big tell for a lot of these scams, or most of the times the websites are not legit. There's spelling errors, there's grammatical errors, there's all kinds of stuff that usually, if you look at the website and you're seeing it, like, why is the email based on Gmail? This is supposed to be a company thing
Right.
or a government thing. Why is it a Gmail or why is it a Hotmail? That's usually a tip off right there.
But you
Anything
can
else you want to
also
add to that?
Google. Yeah, definitely Google
Yeah.
that person or that company. And more importantly, I just finished an email before we got on, Evan. Someone who has a foreclosure matter, and I told them to check with their local bar association. Someone was in Nassau County. I told them to call a local Nassau County Bar Association that has a whole I would say clinic set up for foreclosure relief. They'll meet with clients, they'll guide them, they'll help them when they go to court, and they'll give you a list. There's a list of probably 20 agencies that'll help you with foreclosure or modification of no charge. Doesn't mean they're going to be successful, but they do the same job without charging you. So before you go and spend that money, exhaust those resources that are tested, verified, and free in many instances.
So there's two resources that you just mentioned right now. One, a free one is called Google, which we all have on our phones. Google everybody. Whoever you're dealing with, Google them. And the other thing is talk to the people that are closest to you. Most likely they'll know somebody basically, and they are your own resource. So talk to those people as well, and talk to the people that you hired, the people that you work with. If you had a real estate agent you had a good relationship with, you should be reaching out to them. If you can't find them or you don't want to work with them anymore, you reach out to somebody that's putting out content like this Talk to them, and then they can be a resource to you. You talk to your attorney, your real estate attorney, your divorce attorney. You talk to all the resources that you have available to you, and also Google search everything. You never want to take things basically for face value. You want to do your own research. You should always do your own research on anything that you're planning to do. And a few other things that came up. Somebody was asking about. Let me see what it was. Title fraud. How often does that happen?
I don't really see it happening. It might have been the first topic we talked about where
Mm.
someone changes a deed and you don't know that you don't own the property anymore. But again, that's rare because most times if you're in a property, you'll know if ownership's been transferred, tax bills, other invoices and paperwork wouldn't get to you. I mean, if you live in another country or far state and you have a piece of property that's sitting vacant, is it possible that someone went and changed a deed? Yeah, it may be more likely that you won't know about it. Again, I don't know about paying for those monitoring services is worth it, but you can check, as I said, annually just with the county clerk to make sure that the ownership is still in your name. That's the only issue I see with title fraud. Fraud at a closing, it happens also sometimes where one of the participants, the attorneys, the title company, the title closer. I mean, there are many stories about that where people commit fraud, but those are more obvious and they're known right at the time. Certainly, ramifications of it, but it's known. So it's not really something that's latent that's going to sneak up on you.
Key thing I want people to remember is basically be very vigilant. So if you trust your gut, if you don't feel at ease with whatever's going on, trust your
Mm-hmm.
that guardian angel that's on your shoulder saying, "Hey, wait a minute! Before you sign, you probably should do more research on this, or
Yeah.
talk to somebody. Call Evans, call Anthony, call somebody that I trust, and go over this. This doesn't seem legit, and I wanted to just verify." If the other person is pushing you, sign, 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 then that's probably a telltale that something's not right. If it's a real person who's got your interest in it, basically, they're gonna like, all right, how can I help you understand what the process is? All right, let me show you the proof. Here's what it is, and this is what I've done with all my clients, blah, blah, blah. If they can't provide the proof, like the kids like to say, they can't show you the receipts, then basically that's probably not somebody you want to work with.
I see it a lot also with timeshares, believe it or not. I have a little nice background in timeshares, and I'll get people that'll call me that they own, I don't know, a timeshare, let's say in Mexico, and it may have very depressed value. It could be worth $5,000 or less. And they'll tell me someone's offering to give them $60,000 for that timeshare. And I tell them, again, it's too good to be true. The market is the market. If it's worth 5,000 or 8,000, no one is giving you 60,000. They come up with these elaborate schemes that they're out of the country. They're going to use it as an Airbnb and it's worth it to them, but it's not. And in the end, what these companies are doing or people are doing is they're asking you to send them money in advance, which you should never do. If you're getting money, you should get money, never give it first. And two, they're also, arranging these things where they'll send you a wire. You think you have it in your account. You'll send them money back extra or their fee, and then their check to you or wire to you will bounce. So you're out the money you laid out. So again, I know it sounds easy, but if it's too good to be true, it is.
Well, you kind of touched upon another subject, which is home improvement. There's a lot of home improvement scams out there. There is the Better Business Bureau. You should basically, anybody who you're dealing with, check Google and check the Better Business Bureau and see what the ratings are. And it's your right to ask questions to whoever you're deciding to work with. If they can't provide the answers that are satisfactory to you, then again, maybe this is not somebody you should be working with. But with the home improvement scams, you have contractors that are offering unsolicited deals to home repairs or improvements, and they're offering pressuring homeowners to make immediate decisions. That's usually a telltale sign if somebody's pushing you to do something, and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't really ask for this. So again, take time to think it over. Don't take up too much time, but take some time to think it over. But if you do feel somebody's pressuring you a little too much, you might want to, hey, let's put the hands up. Like, wait, let's hold on a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No, home improvement contractors are a tough thing to work with because you're always paying them in advance, so you never know if you're getting that much worth of work. So if you give them 25% deposit, you really, he might not have started any work yet. So you always have to pay in advance. You just want to keep it where at least you keep it in control. I had a former client call me, didn't speak to me, but until way too late. They told me that they had a leak in their roof. They called a roofing contractor. He came. He told them they needed new windows. He told them they needed a humidifier in the basement of their house, many other tasks. But when I asked, well, a humidifier, how much could that be? They told me an astronomical number, over $200,000 they laid out to this contractor. Never finished the work and had no intention of doing it. Again, at some point, they just needed to stop and think, ask somebody else, a family member, neighbor, attorney, realtor, somebody that would have said, listen, this is way off base. Don't do this. But they didn't. They got too far along and they have a problem.
All right. So what's the legal recourse for any of these things that we discussed? Is there any legal recourse?
It's difficult. Most of these people move the money so quick, there's really no path of recovery. Criminal charges are possible, but even that doesn't really do any good unless they find someone. And then they have to have the resources to pay you back. The money usually is gone. And most of these are shell companies that have no assets or backing for you to recover again. So technically, once it's gone, it's gone. So that's why you really have to think before you act.
Well, I hope this is like a cautionary tale for people when they see this. Just be very vigilant, pay attention, look at the contracts that you're signing. If there are contracts, if it's a verbal agreement, ask for an actual physical contract, and check their websites, check their ratings, Google, talk to your friends or relatives, talk to the professionals that are in those fields that you feel comfortable and confident with, basically, who do refer people on a regular basis. Obviously, when I'm referring people, I want to make sure the person's up and up, and I never want to hear from my clients, hey, I work with this person that got scammed. Like, obviously, if that happens, I feel horrible, and I want to make sure I want to protect my clients, and Anthony's the same way also. He wants to protect his clients as well. So we vet our clients. We vet not just our clients. We vet the people vendors that we're working with. We want to make sure that whoever we're referring basically is on the level. And obviously, like I said before, we want to make sure our clients are always protected. So again, you have to do your part and do your research before you put your name on the dotted line on anything. And you got the last words.
Well said. As I said, it's a scary world. Oh, someone's always trying to get at you, but just take your time, think it through. It's got to make sense, and definitely you could always take your time and check with a trusted advisor, whether that's your realtor, your attorney, or family or friend, as I said. So that's the best advice I can give anyone in any of these situations.
We hope you got some value out of this. Please feel free, if you have any topics you want us to discuss in further episodes, let us know. And with that being said, you go have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you.